Hello, everyone. Angela's back.
Hi.
Daphne is on her honeymoon.
Hiding away from us. Clearly would rather be somewhere else than with us.
Having fun on the ocean. You know, whatever. Yeah.
Let her enjoy while it lasts, because she's coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
Yeah, but for now we have Angela, and she is a hoot. So...
Wow.
So,
Wow.
this week we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time. Okay,
Black and white.
It's black and white, it's classic, and it's literally top 10 forever, never leaving.
I don't know if you're sensing it by the hands. This is my favorite.
This is, I
movie
have
that's
to.
ever existed.
I could watch it every day for the rest of my life and not be disappointed. The Shop Around the Corner. Let me live.
Yep, we're
Go
letting
ahead. Go
All right.
ahead.
It's a classic movie. It was made in 1940. It's based on a Hungarian play.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
There have been multiple remakes of this movie.
Yes.
There was In the Good Old Summertime with Judy Garland.
I haven't seen that.
It's set in a music store. It's not the same thing. And then there was You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Yep.
These remakes are not worth my time.
Because you know what's worth my time?
You know what's worth my time?
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart.
I knew it.
See,
I-
you already found someone you want.
She's already gonna... She said...
Like, okay. The Shop Around the Corner.
There's a shop around the corner.
It's a shop around the corner. It's on Malta Street in Budapest, Hungary. There's an opening placard, you know, like they used to do in black and white movies. They start out with the opening placard. And there's a bunch of people working in this department store in Budapest. And the story it's very simple. You have the inner workings of the shop, but also you have Jimmy Stewart over here being Victor Kralik. And he is tall and handsome and noble and good, and I love him.
Oh, skinny guy.
And
that's specific to this particular movie.
I mean,
That's not everything Jeanette's ever seen.
Jimmy Stewart,
That's not her
for the most part.
fangirling in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I was sitting next to her in theaters.
The floor.
It was bad.
Yeah.
She did it! She did it!
We talked about this last week. That's the sneeze.
The sneeze that makes people have car crashes. The sneeze that makes people cut their fingers off.
The startle, yes.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I have a cat.
Sorry.
All right. So the shop around the corner. Victor Kralik is, on the one hand, trying to do his job. He's having problems with his boss, Mr. Matichak.
You know, the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, he's played by the Wizard of Oz. And
From the Wizard of Oz.
From the Wizard.
The Oz from the Wizard of
Henry
Oz.
Morgan? Frank Morgan. Thank you. Henry Morgan was somebody else. Horse guy or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No one knows.
I think
Captain Morgan, for all I know.
I'm sorry. Frank. The
I've no idea.
Wizard of Oz, Frank Morgan.
She's saying words.
Okay.
Okay.
Jimmy Stewart
Hey, kitty. You come here.
is... Okay.
Here.
Jimmy Stewart is trying to
Yeah,
keep
right.
his job, but the Wizard of Oz is mad at him. And he doesn't know why. He's like, why are we
Probably
having...
shouldn't call him that.
He's the Wizard of Oz, but he's Mr. Matichak, the owner of this department store. Meanwhile, Jimmy Stewart Victor Kralik has been pen paling with this woman who he doesn't know.
They did that a lot then.
Yeah, he was
Did they
looking...
do that a lot in the 1940s, or is that
I'm
just...
going to say, I don't know about Hungary. I have no clue. It was written in a play in Hungary. I
You
don't know.
guys, in Hungary in the
Hungary in
1940s,
1940, did they
how
do
common
this?
was it?
He went through the classifieds looking for a encyclopedia set to buy just because he felt like buying one.
Wants to be smart.
Yeah, he wanted to be smart, and he found this letter that said, "Hey, I'm a sophisticated, cultured girl, and I wish to discuss the world in general with a man of sympathetic nature." There's a whole thing, and so
Wow.
he's been pen paling with this woman, and over the course of the movie, he loves this woman, and then in the middle of the movie, turns out that the pen pal that he's in love with is this woman that he's been fighting with at the store, and he realizes it before she does, and it's a little bit possibly creepy the way that he goes about it, but I love it
It's
so
creepy and
much.
funny.
It's
and
creepy
awkward.
that he's like, oh, you're just...
He's kind of toying with her a little bit because he's like,
Yes.
yeah, he's
Like
like
half of the movie he's hating her, and then the other half he's
yeah.
like, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Halfway through, when he realizes he goes to, he loses his job. He has a fight with his boss halfway through the movie, and the boss says, "Okay, you're out." And the boss gives him a resignation letter, this man was a good, loyal employee, he'll do great in his future, whatever, but you're not working here anymore. So he goes to meet this girl that he's been corresponding with. He's never met her. They're going to do that whole, you have a rose and I have a rose, it's red carnation.
It's a red carnation.
It's a red carnation and a copy of Anna Karenina. Gesundheit.
Thank you.
And so he goes to meet her not knowing who she is, and he looks in the window, and it's the girl that he's been fighting with, Clara. And at that point, he's like, okay, this woman that I've been fighting with, this can't be the woman that I've been corresponding with. They're not the same at all. And he starts, you can see like the wheels start turning where he's like, what's up with this? And so he goes inside and he starts talking with her, and he starts being a little bit more
nice.
Well, he's trying to be as nice as he can be, because he's like, I think maybe there's more to you than this facade that you're putting out.
Mm-hmm.
And
she's a complete bitch to him.
She's
back.
mean. She's mean. She's very snippy.
Well, she does explain why she was doing that, though.
Yes.
Which is twisted. But
Was it?
apparently,
I don't think I got that scene.
What happens is she's basically like, I liked you, and I was reading a book where if a lady liked a guy, she treated him badly, and he just loved it. But I treated you badly, and you snapped back, which is what you should do.
Yeah.
By the way.
Well, she was reading this book about this French actress from the Comédie Française, and when she wanted a man, she treated him like a dog, but instead of licking my hand, you barked. That's what that was? Yeah, that's what that was.
I was so, that whole scene, I just blacked out.
Yeah, she started being snippy at him because she started falling for him because, again, Jimmy Stewart, okay?
He's a tall, skinny man.
He is so tall and so handsome, I just can't with this man.
But essentially, I'm just going to sidetrack again.
Yes.
Essentially, isn't that the same thing as like a boy pulling a girl's pigtails and people go,
kind of.
Oh, he likes you.
Like, obviously.
No, personal space.
This is how
I will end you.
This is how come Victor Kralik didn't lick her hand, because how dare you treat me like that, you bitch. Like, that was why they fought, because he's not putting up with that shit, and she was like, well, I'm in too deep now, I guess I have to be mean to you. And so, yeah, they had this animosity built up at work because she acted kind of foolishly, and then he responded like a rational human being. And, I mean, she came at him.
Just all wrong.
Yeah.
When she found out that he couldn't get her a job at the store at the first place, she was like, okay, I'll be nice. And then she's like, okay, let me figure my own way into this. And then she tries to sell this music box. And it's supposed to be for cigars. And it was like, every time you open it, music played. Yeah. But the music was so irritating once you... It was
high and tinny and music boxy, but it's Ochichornia, it's pretty. It's a pretty song, but played in the music box with the tinkle tinkle, nobody's gonna go in there.
With the tinkle tinkle?
That's gonna make people stop smoking.
It's very tinny and tinkly, and people are gonna hate these boxes. And that's another reason that Mr. Matichek and Victor Kralik didn't get along, because Mr. Matichek was like, I have these boxes, I could get a good deal on them, what do you think? And Mr. Kralik, he's like, well, the glue's no good, it's imitation leather, the song's annoying. He has valid criticisms about this box.
It's going to make people stop smoking, because every time you open it, you're going to hear it.
Exactly.
Well, surely that's a good thing.
Well, that's
not at the time if you want to sell it.
That's how Clara sells the box, is you're going to buy this, but every time you hear the song, it's going to remind you, wait a second, I've looked in this today. So, yeah, that's, again,
but then they don't sell.
Mr. Matichek and Mr. Kralik are not getting along, because, I'm going to spoil some things, the reason is, Mr. Matichek has gotten an anonymous letter that one of his employees is having an affair with his wife.
Yes.
You never see his wife. She's kind of like Maris Crane. She's off screen.
She's a bitch.
You hear her phone calls, but you don't hear her. And you never see her, but you know she exists.
Do you, though?
Yes, you know she
exists. What if she doesn't? What if it's like Norman Bates' mother?
The reason that she exists is because there was a private eye that was following her.
It's made up. He's illusion.
Oh my god. Alright, so Mr. Matichek is upset with Mr. Kralik because he thinks Mr. Kralik is the one having the affair.
I love how she keeps calling him Mr. Kralik and Mr. It's like,
yes.
Mr.
I'm trying to
Mr. A, what do you think, Mr. B? What do you think, Mr. A? Here's what I think, Mr. A.
The problem is it's a black... Like, you only just saw it this last week. Mm-hmm. We only just showed it to Angela.
Yeah, it was a good movie, but you can tell that the movie was based on the future of rom-coms.
Yeah.
As literally the base.
It's as basic a rom-com as you could get.
Yeah.
It is.
It's shorter than, usual movie, but, literally, like, only reason why he thought that she was with him is because he assumed, like, oh my God, you're the only one I've ever invited to my house.
Mm-hmm.
But he forgot that he sent one of his other workers to the house to get something. I'm like...
And it's not like she would ever leave the house. I mean, she's a housewife. Like, it's not like she would ever come to the store or anything.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
And it's a little bit dumb.
I don't know why she's like a ghost. I was hoping that at one point in the movie she was going to
it'll
appear,
just turn
but
out she's not real.
She never appeared.
Hello, Mr. Kitty.
Yeah, but I felt that same way with Fraser. I was like, why don't you ever appear?
Well... watching it the second time through, when you know everything, you can see how it's building on each other, how it's like tying up together. Watching it the first time through, I mean, I was a teenager the first time I saw it, so it really spoke to me. Like, it really did. Uh-huh. And I did not expect a lot of the twists and turns that happened in this movie.
I did.
See?
But that's only because I watch rom-coms like that.
Yeah. And you're older than I was when I very first saw it.
I read books like that, and you know that a point in the movie is going to come where, oh my God, this happens, and then it's supposed to come back into the usual thing. But this movie didn't technically have a climax, because the climax was right at the end, and they kiss, and then it's over. I'm like, that climax and that shoot down was fast.
It was. Well, I mean, at the end of Star Wars, they explode the Death Star, and then there's like, 60 seconds after that? 60
seconds of it's denouement.
Yeah. It's like climax and then like 5.
And then you get a medal.
Yeah, everybody gets a medal, so you're good. So Star Wars works at that same pace. And this one, you have the final scene where they're in the store together, and then they both realize... Jimmy Stewart finally admits that he's known for like 3 weeks. I've known, this is who you are. How do you feel about it? And she's kind of like, well, I'm shocked, but oh my God, I'm so happy. And I'm like, yeah, you are.
See, that's not how I felt.
That's not how I felt. A fiance or something?
Yes.
That is
Jimmy
not
Stewart,
how I felt at the end of the movie.
See, I love Victor Kralik so much. He is a good man. He is a good worker.
Hey, Jeanette, why do you like Mr. Smith who went to Washington?
Again, same thing. He's so noble, and he's
Jeanette,
so good.
Has Jimmy Stewart ever not played that character? Why don't we talk about the Thin Man when he murdered people? Yeah. Spoilers!
Jimmy Stewart played the villain in a murder mystery, and it was great.
Oh my
God!
Because I loved him so much. I never thought he could screw me over.
I swear to God, Jimmy Stewart, like.
Man,
see, this is not the movie.
Pissed me off. That movie pissed me off.
I know,
that's
but
not, that's not what happens in real life.
Victor Kralik is the
reason
people
murder people in real life.
No, I'm talking about from the movie we're talking about now.
From The Shop Around the Corner.
The Shop Around the Corner.
Well, if in real life things happened like this, I'd be like, that was fucked up. Like,
yes. Yeah. You've known this whole time. You came in the store.
You lied to me.
Like that.
You deceived me.
Yeah, like the thing that made me so mad.
You'd have to have that part.
Too much.
It's the part that I hate the most in reveal stories. Where it's like, you lied to me. Yeah. And then you have to have that moment of, oh no, you lied to me. And then they have to both go their own separate ways, being very sad about it.
Yeah.
And then eventually one of them goes, oh, I'm sorry that I screwed you up.
I lied. Please forgive me. Oh, okay, I forgive you.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't even do that in the show. They just was like, we're going to put this all in one scene.
Well, in this one, she was completely okay with it. She was like, oh.
No. That's not real. That's not real. That's not real.
I'm okay with it because she was in love with him from like month 1. And I know why, and I get it.
She had a crush on him in real life and over the pen pal, so obviously they're meant to be together.
Bro.
Like, they're soulmates, god damn it.
When he came into the shop, without the flower, I was like, okay. Yeah. And then he goes to speak to her like he ain't really trying to check her out. And I'm like, okay, maybe you just want to make sure it's her. And then he keeps it going. Yeah. And then for a Christmas gift, he subtly slides like, get this. Because this is what I want, and I'm the person you're going to give it to.
It's funny.
You just don't know yet.
It's a funny movie, and it's a funny scene. She's planning on buying him one of those music boxes with the ochicharnia, and he's like, oh God, no. But he can't straight up tell her, please don't buy me that, because she doesn't know that he's him at this point. Yeah. And so he's like, you need to buy him a wallet. Buy your letterman a wallet. And she's like, but I want to buy him the music box. And then he has his friend Pirovich come in, and Pirovich is like, I want to buy that last music box, even though you're going to buy it, because I hate my uncle, and I want to give him a present that he's going to hate. And she's like, oh, you think people will hate this gift? And he's like, oh, no, you were going to buy it. maybe you should buy a wallet instead. And so she's gonna buy him a wallet for Christmas because it's really romantic, the thing about the papa.
See, the way life happens.
It's sweet.
I stopped comparing rom-coms to real life a long time ago, but this one kind of pissed me off because it was like a whole nother level because it wasn't even like climax. Oh my God, there wasn't even the space that she was mad. She was just like, fuck it.
She kind of goes, I'm very confused.
She was very
But honestly, I'm glad.
Yeah, well,
and it's just, there's not
like,
a...
let's
honestly,
get married.
She's glad because he was messing with her, telling
I don't
her
like
about,
that gesture.
about
and then let's get married.
Let's get married. No, he was telling her this whole thing about Mr. Popkin, and he was like,
who the hell is Mr. Popkin? You're not explaining things.
Okay, so at the end of the movie, after Christmas, after they have sold out for Christmas, they got 9,000 Hungarian dollars.
That's a lot of money.
And,
wow.
Yeah, in the 40s. And so they're closing down.
What is the exchange rate, by the way?
Yeah, I don't know however much 9,500 pengo is in American money in the 1940s. I need a mathematician.
Even if you translate it, you'd have to do modern day inflation. Skip it.
Exactly.
Skip it.
It's quite a bit.
Someone can do it in
They do
editing,
well.
bro. Someone can do it in editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause we don't know.
Daphne, get on the math.
I love how you do this. The second you come back from your wedding, I want you to look up ancient Hungarian money. Tell me what that would translate to in American money, and then change it to modern
From
day.
the 1940s exchange rate, from pengo to American dollars, then from American dollars in 1940, American dollars today.
I'm sure she wants this homework. Get back to your point. Get back to your point.
Well, the point is that at the end of the movie, he wants to propose to her. He's like, this is what we're going to do. But he's also still kind of playing with her because this is...
Because he's an ass.
He's having fun with it.
And because she wants to fuck him. That's
well,
that's
not how it is.
Actually, you just said she had a crush on him since the moment she saw him. And also she's been flirting over pen pal.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure...
She's not that kind of lady. She's
I see.
You want to. I said, you
Oh,
want
I
to.
see.
And you're on his side because
So,
you're like, he's beautiful.
We talked about the Purple Rose of Cairo and how Jeff Daniels came out of the movie and he was walking around and being a thing. If Victor Kralik could do that, that'd be great.
Oh my God. He'd be speaking to you in 1940s Hungarian.
No. The movie is in English. It would be Jimmy Stewart in 1940. And I'd be okay with that.
Oh my God.
God. You're like, I'm taking
He's
all
in love
I
with
can
someone
get.
else.
I
would take him. I'd take him from her.
Well, in the Jeff Daniels Purple Rose of Cairo movie, his character was in love with someone else, but he came out of the movie because he wasn't really. That was an actor, and that's fine.
Can we get back to the point
all
you were
this
trying to make?
Okay, the
she
point
got all this thought out.
800 minutes ago, you were trying to make a point.
I was going to explain the Popkin thing.
Who?
He starts to tell her that her letter writing man, he showed up at the store, and he turns out he's out of a job, and turns out he's balding, and turns out he's old, and turns out he's all these things, and little by little, and she's like, oh God, I've misinterpreted his letters. I thought he was so noble, and here I find out he's materialistic, and he just wants me for my job, and he just wants, he's been lying to me, and he stole from Victor Hugo the pretty words that he said in the to love is to be two and yet one. That
I'm not gonna lie and say I know.
When a man and a woman blended as angels, I think is the phrase.
This is me fast forwarding.
And shut up. Victor Kralik is like, well, that's Victor Hugo. He stole that. And at that point, Clara is like, oh my God, he's lied to me. Yeah, like I fell in love with an ideal.
As if it's a bad thing to cite writing.
Well,
by the way,
he didn't cite it. He stole it.
You can just
he didn't.
You don't cite in real life.
At that time, people did not care. At that time, people did not care.
It's not like he's writing an essay for college.
Yeah, but
it's not like he's underneath the window trying to woo her like Cyrano de freaking Bergerac. Hello, I'm wooing you on behalf of this guy who can't talk. That's not what he's doing. He's using his own brain to be like, I've read a book before.
Which is fair, but also with
he
all
made
the other stuff.
In the movie, he made it seem like he's the bastard. You should come with me.
Yeah,
that's what his mom was
and
going.
that's how come when he was like, oh, by the way, there's not this guy. I made all that up. It was me the whole time. And she's like, on the one hand, you lied to me, and I'm confused. But on the other hand, you're not Mr. Popkin, you're Victor Kralik, and I like you. And they love each other because they actually had a decent connection over the pen pal. Mm-hmm. They love each other. They legit love each other for their souls and for their intellect, and I love that so much.
Yes, and see, you missed
that's my favorite thing about this movie.
You missed the whole piece in the movie.
my favorite part of the movie has nothing to do with the plot.
Mine don't either.
My favorite part of the movie is the part where Mr. Monachek is leaving, and the little guy that doesn't have anywhere to go for Christmas,
Rudy,
and little Rudy is like, I don't have anywhere to go, and Mr. Monachek is like, I just lost my wife.
Yeah, well,
but I can't tell anyone that I'm sad.
His wife.
See, that's the whole
He's
part
going
that you
to
skip.
leave his wife because
that's the whole
she's
part
cheating
you
on
skip.
him.
And so,
See,
my favorite part of the movie is where Rudy's like, I don't have anywhere to go. And he's like, do you want to come have dinner with me? We're going to have this time of food and this time of food. And the fact that Rudy literally goes, Mr. Monachek.
Well, Rudy just started. He just now started. This is like his first day.
But the way that he said,
I know, he's so excited because
it just sounds like he's a little bit too excited.
He's tiny.
Mr.
And
Monachek.
he is alone. He is a tiny, alone boy in Budapest. And Mr. Monachek is alone too. This is the first Christmas that he's going to spend without Emma because she cheated on him because he deserves better than that. He's not a bad man. And, you know, and first off, if she's the kind of woman who's going to fucking Ferenc Vadic.
Okay, see, this is the part that you skipped.
Okay.
Did she just put a verb and you used that, you F-bombed twice in a row, and I think you used one as a verb and one as...
I'll have to rewatch the video.
Wow.
I don't know how I said it, but yeah, okay. Ferenc Vadic is a terrible person. Yes. He is a toady. He is a sycophant.
Two-faced.
He is awful. He is just awful throughout the whole movie. And
he is.
If he's the kind of man that Emma Monachek is going to go for, I mean, no.
I mean, if he's always a yes man.
I have lost respect for her. That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Air 5, bro.
And that's probably what...
What kind of Eiffel Tower? I'm sorry.
Please never say that shit again on video. I could appreciate that.
The IT crowd, remember?
Ew.
No. Oh, the IT crowd? No.
You
don't remember that?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So anyway... Ferenc Vadic is gross. He is gross throughout the movie. That was one of your first things.
Yeah, I didn't like him from the beginning.
He walks in and Angela's like,
Well, I didn't like him because he felt like he was putting himself on such a high pedestal, but you get paid the same amount as them.
He's a clerk just like everybody else.
Yeah, but then he comes in one day with all this expensive shit on, like you fucking his
he's
wife.
like, check out my ring. My grandmother gave it to me because I was a good boy, and it's like, bullshit.
Lies,
bullshit. Your girlfriend gave you that. And
yeah, but you see, the thing is that
you're
skipping. This is the part that you skipped.
Well,
the part that you skipped is that when he finds out who was with his wife and everything, he tries to kill himself in his office. Mm-hmm. But their messenger boy, their first one, Peppy, right? Because I didn't remember his name.
Peppy Katona.
Yes, Peppy came in and he saved him from shooting himself, and then he apologized to
Victor Kralik.
Yes. Him.
Jimmy Stewart.
He says, I'm very sorry. Someone told me that Emma was cheating on me, and you were the one that had been to my house and just left all those notes. You gave her flowers, and just little by little, and I was like, I think it's probably you, and everything just set me, And so he does apologize for thinking terribly of Victor Kralik when
it makes him manager.
And then he says, I'm going to retire a little bit, going to step back a little bit, and you'll be manager of the store, and it'll be okay.
And then he kicked the other dude out, which was hilarious.
It was great.
He hit all the music boxes.
Yeah, he grabbed him and he threw him. The guy goes. You heard it. You heard it. He called me. He called me a double-crossing two-timer.
Mm-hmm. A double-crossing two-timer.
Double-crossing two-timer, and everybody comes gathering around because now it's a big scene, and Jimmy Stewart, he says, what is it he says in black and white?
Prove it to me that I'm fired. Prove it to me in black and white.
Oh, yeah, prove it
in black and white. You're going to get it in black and blue.
Yeah, he grabs it by the lapels and he shoves him. And then everybody goes to pick up the music boxes instead of the guy on the floor. On his jacket.
It's his
People
jacket.
know the word lapels. Don't you?
That's why I was giggling at sycophant earlier. I was like, maybe you should just say yes, man.
I like the word sycophant.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, but
good.
they may not know what that is. Yeah. Someone may come across and be like, oh my God, what is that
Y'all
word?
are on the internet. Dictionary.com is a thing.
Wow, that's some shade. What if they don't know how to spell
She just
sycophant?
called you dumb, bro. She just called you dumb.
Google is also a thing.
Wow.
Did you mean sycophant? Yes. Click on that.
What if they don't know how to spell it? They spell it SICKOF.
Google knows all. Google,
it doesn't.
Yeah, I'll bet you.
Anyway.
Okay.
I think we should wrap it up.
I apologize.
Jeanette keeps getting off on Jimmy Stewart.
Shut up.
She can't deny it.
I'm just saying.
She can't deny it.
When I saw this movie for the first time, I was probably 12, probably 14 in that area. And just the love story really resonated with me. It really did. Mm-hmm. It's
because it's Beauty and the Beast again.
It is.
It's because it's not Jane Austen, Jane Eyre again. It's because
it's because
that's your king. If you had a king,
if I had a king,
that's what it would be.
Because they learn to love each other little by little, just by who they are as people. They don't talk about their jobs. They don't get to know each other. They don't know what they look like. They just fall in love.
Doesn't matter what you look like.
Not really matter who you are. Yeah. So I really like that. It's great. It's terrific. Absolutely.
And also
perfect.
she gets to look at Jimmy Stewart.
And also Jimmy Stewart, who in 1940, I will remind you, was a beautiful man.
It's fine.
He was really tall and skinny.
He was always.
He
was
looked.
super tall.
He looked sickly skinny. Though.
He did have
slim.
to gain weight to join the army. Jimmy Stewart, he wanted to go fight in the war, but they wouldn't let him because he wasn't heavy enough.
Yeah, I bet. He was small.
Mm-hmm.
He was skinny.
He was literally like, I will fight in this war. It is important. And so he gained weight to join. And he
can gain weight. He just chooses not to.
Well, let the man be tall.
Oh, wow.
No, sorry.
Anyway, so overall thoughts.
Overall, like I said, this movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. It probably is my favorite rom-com. Yeah. Probably. Because it is funny and it is sweet. And Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, I think the only real criticism we both have is that they kind of skip over that ending a little bit too much.
Yeah,
and they don't quite really deal with some of the...
Chop.
They're just kind of like, and then we're done.
Yeah.
So,
rather like we feel like they run out of money.
Rather like with this podcast. Yeah. So...
Well, again, it's based on a play. I don't know how the play did it pace-wise, but yeah.
Go read it in the original Hungarian.
Yeah. I barely know. Like, I don't even know if I can find a copy. Whatever. I need a Hungarian scholar who can tell me about Pingo.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Okay.
Please.
Well, thank you for watching. Next week, Daphne will be back.
Yes.
Because honeymoon, cruise. It only lasts for 6 days. She'll be on a cruise for a week. She'll be
something.
Let's go with it.
But then she'll be back, and her last name will be Kropf-Yay. So.
What?
Her last name will be new. She will still be part of the Merle Girls podcast.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Because we're going to kick her out the second her last name. I see what you mean. Wow.
Yeah.
No, you raised a valid point. Why is she here?
Why
is she her last name?
Never won.
You know what I mean? How dare?
I'm just saying, Daphne is not going to be a guest star on her own podcast. Like,
apparently, you're just demoting her.
I'm just saying, it'll be new, it'll be fun, but what are we talking about next week? We had a plan.
No, we don't. We don't usually have a plan. We usually just kind of pick it sporadically.
We've been throwing names out. I don't know what we've chosen.
Please put what you want us to look at in the comments.
Yes, if you please comment, please. We could use a little bit of guidance.
Because this is what happens.
This is what Jeanette
goes on tangents. Jeanette goes, I'm going to talk about Hungarian money from the 1940s.
Yes, I'm going to talk about Pingo, even though no one but me cares.
It's okay. I'll care for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, it's a good movie. I recommend it with my whole heart.
We recommend it like 80%.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're ready for the beginning of rom-coms, and then
if you want to watch a black and white movie that's also a rom-com,
yes.
If that's your jam, then this movie is right for you.
Yes. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for watching us talk about it. Thank you for indulging me, because I know
we all do.
I know
every day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next week. Daphne will be back.
Bye.